Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Chada. We're going to talk about a book today, but before we get to the video, let me introduce myself. Well, as I told you, my name is Chada. I'm studying in the University of Almeria in Spain, and I'm originally from Turkey. Well, the story we're gonna talk about is the Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Here we have the book, it's so fancy. Well, the writer is an American novelist. She spent her 10 years writing this beautiful novel. She wanted to perfectionize everything. She wanted to give another tone to this beautiful story because the story was originally written by Homer, but of course not the same story. This version is fiction, where Homer's version is a fiction too, but this version is a modern fiction. Well, let's talk about the story. This book revolves around a love story between Patroclus and Achilles. But the story is written from the point of view of Patroclus. Well, Patroclus' childhood is really traumatic because he was exiled to King Peleus. He was a prince originally, but his father exiled him to King Peleus. Well, who is King Peleus? King Peleus is the father of Achilles, and Achilles is the son of King Peleus and Thetis. Thetis is a titan, a sea titan, and yeah. Well, talking about Achilles, he was kind of famous since he was born because everyone knew that he was gonna be someone that is important. But Patroclus was the opposite of it. Patroclus could never be a person that was really important to anyone. So we see the opposite characters loving each other in the story. Well, Patroclus meets with Achilles in the kingdom of Peleus. Then they became friends, they trained with Chiron, and they grew up together. They learned healing, music, and history by Chiron, and they naturally develop love between each other. Well, the most important part in the story is Trojan War. These two characters, they grew up and actually they too didn't want to enter the war, but because of Patroclus' bloodline, he kind of had to enter the war. Well, but during the war, Patroclus' compassion conflicts with his pride. Well, because of his pride, he entered the war. Then, the tragedy happened between them. Hector killed Patroclus. Filled with rage, Achilles kills Hector, and yeah, and this story ends. But in the ending of the story, they were buried together, and their ashes were mixed together, which was a symbol of love. The themes in the story is destiny, heroism, devotion, and queer identity. Well, destiny versus free will, we can explain this in so many ways. For example, Patroclus didn't have to enter the war, but because of his pride and his free will, he entered the war. And then he got killed. Well, after this, this is free will, so he chose to be killed in this way. And the devotion can be explained by the love of these two beautiful characters. They are devoted to themselves, to this relationship a lot. So they loved each other and they longed for each other, and they were never separated, despite they were buried together and their ashes were mixed together, which is so beautiful. Well, I'm going to compare it with another story, with Apollo and Hyacinthus. Well, as everyone knows, Apollo is the son of God of Sun. I'm so sorry, God of Sun, and he is well known by his beautiful talent in music. And Hyacinthus is the son of a prince and a titan, just like Achilles. Well, but just like Patroclus, Hyacinthus was immortal. Was mortal. Sorry. Well, in this story, Hyacinthus learns music from Apollo, and they fell in love with each other. But the tragedy happens when the Western god Zephyrus falls in love with Hyacinthus. Yeah, and the tragedy happens like this. In a destroying competition, Apollo throws the golden disc. Then Zephyrus, turns the wind in some way that it can kill Hyacinthus. So this love triangle kills Hyacinthus in the end. Well, as you can see, we have so many stories from Homer and Greek mythology, and they are queer stories. Like at least half of them are queer stories. And my review in this book is that romanticization. The reason why we buy these books, which I support completely, is the romanticization. And what is romanticization? Romanticization is idealizing a person, projecting a fantasy on them, and then seeing them as perfect and ignoring the flaws. Well, how that thing happened in these stories? For example, Patroclus saw Achilles as the perfect man, and that's why he was always with him, and he was always valuing the ideas of Achilles. Well, another thing is that another story between Apollo and Hyacinthus. Hyacinthus sees Apollo as the supreme god, and he fell in love with Apollo. So it's in both of the stories they ignore the flaws. They ignore the danger that they are in. They are ignoring that one of them was always with a demigod, which is dangerous, and another one fell in love with a real god, with a complete god, which is more dangerous. So, in Achilles and Patroclus, Patroclus idolizes Achilles, and Achilles becomes the symbol of glory. And in this story, love shaped by destiny and fear. And the psychological effects of this idealization, romanticization, is that emotional dependency, blurred reality, and intense attachment. So in both of the stories, we see intense attachments. And why tragic gay love stories affect us? Because it is forbidden or fragile, like Now, in our time, in so many countries, the gay love is still forbidden. Well, and it also projects of our own desires, fears, because everyone loves to idealize love and romanticize the one that they have crush on. Well, and these stories, they are like so famous and so successful because it is emotional myth making. Well, Madeline Miller used this technique to write this story. She used emotional myth making, and she applied a beautiful idealization on every character, including Apollo, Patroclus, and mother of Achilles, and everyone. Well, my review was that. Thank you so much for listening me. I hope my review helps you understand this book and helps you understand game stories in the Greek mythology. Thank you so much listening. Thank you so much for listening me. Have a beautiful day.